Welcome to the OLV Daily Reflection for Saturday, October 16th. Today, the Universal Church honors St. Hedwig. She was born in the year 1174, and since St. Hedwig was a member of a noble family, she was arranged to be married at the age of 12 to Henry the Bearded, who ended up being an important duke in the Holy Roman Empire. St. Hedwig and her husband had 7 children, and they were truly a generous and faithful couple who personally cared for the sick through the founding and patronizing of hospitals. And they also promoted Catholicism through the establishment and endowment of religious houses. And they took care of the poor and needy who came to them during their reign. And also what made this couple very unique was that after their last child was born, Duke Henry and St. Hedwig decided to take a mutual vow of chastity before their bishop and live mostly apart so that they could focus on what they felt God was calling them to do in their lives more fully. And after Henry died in 1238, St. Hedwig took on the gray habit of the Cistercian nuns at a nearby monastery, where actually her daughter Gertrude was the abbess. And she finished out her life living the austere life of prayer, mortification, fasting, and living a life of poverty. She died in the year 1243 and was canonized a saint 24 years later in 1267. So, in sum, St. Hedwig was a wife of a powerful man and a mother of a large family. She walked the wide and well-traveled road of marriage and family life. And along the way, she took care of more than just her family, but thousands of people through her work with hospitals and taking care of the poor and needy. And it is through her life that she found holiness and also was able to support the church in amazing ways. And as a result, her holiness was on display, and this is the reason her canonization happened so quickly after her death. The first reading for the Mass today, chosen by the Church in honor of St. Hedwig, comes to us from the 26th chapter of the book of Sirach. It reads, "Blessed the husband of a good wife, twice lengthened are his days. A worthy wife brings joy to her husband, peaceful and full is his life. A good wife is a generous gift bestowed upon him who fears the Lord. Be he rich or poor, his heart is content, and a smile is ever on his face. A gracious wife delights her husband. Her thoughtfulness puts flesh on his bones. A gift from the Lord is her governed speech, and firm virtue is of surpassing worth. Choices of blessings is a modest wife, priceless her chaste soul. A holy and decent woman adds grace upon grace. Indeed, no price is worthy of her temperate soul. Like the sun rising in the Lord's heavens, the beauty of a virtuous wife is the radiance of her home." This reading from the book of Sirach points out a couple realities I think that are worthy of our meditation this day. First and foremost, that couples need to truly sanctify each other. Yes, this particular reading talks about the importance of wives and how they bring holiness into the lives of their husbands. But married couples truly have to help and support each other to grow in holiness and to make sure that their lives truly are focused on faith, focused on growth and virtue, and their lives don't get caught up in the things of this world. Because as the reading makes clear, a lot of the holiness and virtue that comes into our lives comes from living out faith and living out virtue and not getting caught up in the things of this world. Thus, we have an amazing example in St. Hedwig, a very powerful, rich woman who could have focused solely on the world, but she chose instead to focus on faith, the growth of virtue, and taking care of others. And that is truly a model that we need to follow in our own lives, but especially for those who are married couples. How can you help you and your wife grow in holiness and to ensure that both of you are moving towards sanctification and not getting caught up in the things of this world, but again, helping each other to grow in holiness? A second part of this reading that again is worthy of our reflection is the fact that a lot of times our service for others is what gives us the greatest joy. That, again, sometimes we have to make sacrifice after sacrifice. But this is where we find our greatest joy. This is where we find our greatest peace. And truthfully, this is where we live out our faith. When we are serving others, when we're making the sacrifices to help others, we are truly blessed. St. Hedwig modeled this in her own life, but again, it's a good reminder for all of us that we do need to focus on others. We need to commit to making sure that each and every day we are giving of ourselves so that we do not become selfish. We don't become focused solely on ourselves. And that, again, leads to us focusing more on things of this world than the more important thing of the things of heaven. May all of us truly live out each day to the fullest in our service of God. And if we can do this, we will truly become holy or set apart because of how God is working through our lives. St. Hedwig and Our Lady of Victory, pray for us.